Hello, and welcome to another video. So in today's video, we are going to talk all about teenagers. And I made a video for you guys a day or two ago, and I was talking about children and our conversation about our children. We need to continue to have it. Our conversations about ourselves, about our homes, about families, we need to continue to have those. But this video specifically is talking about teenagers. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, some of the things that we're going to discuss here today, it might be a bit tough to hear, but let me tell you right now that I am speaking to you from the space of like, I'm here in the same boat with you. I don't think that I'm an expert at all. Okay. If you have children at all, you know that there's no such thing as being an expert. However, there is a such thing as gleaning wisdom from someone else. So I pray that today, this video, that you're able to glean from my wisdom and also from my mistakes. Okay. So the first thing, this whole conversation sparked because of a conversation that I had with my son, and really, I will say some issues that I saw developing in my own home. So like I said, I'm right here with you. The other day, we were about to go out to eat as a family, and we were kind of like laying around, just chilling out, you know what I mean, until it was time to go. I took myself a nap. So this came about after I took myself a nap. I don't think I woke up till like 11 o'clock. Okay. Very relaxed. And in the time that I was taking the nap, the Lord revealed to me something very troubling about, I will say about my son, but it was regarding my son. And I woke up and I realized that there was a very loud talking going on the phone. Now, this had been going on for like 2 weeks, but I kind of ignored it, thinking like, you know, you want your kids to have friends, you want them to have fun, at least it's on speakerphone, but it was very loud and obnoxious. So on this day in particular, the Lord, pressed me to like, don't you ignore these things. So I went into the room and I said, it's time for us to go. And he's talking on the phone, and the kid on the phone is laughing uncontrollably. Like, he knows that the mother has entered the room. So respect, right? So one of your parents has entered the room, and he's continuing to laugh uncontrollably. And not only that, but my son says bye on the phone. And he said, it's not bye, you idiot. It's see you later. And baby, I was done. Okay. And we're going to talk about a few things, but just know that I am a mother, that I'm very kind hearted towards my son, towards my children in general. And sometimes it's really hard to intervene when little things like that are being done. But I want you to know that little things like that equate to larger issues. And like I said, we're going to talk about some of those. Choosing friends is important. Okay. Learning how to choose friends. No, I don't call you an idiot. I don't call you out of your name. I don't even curse at you. Imagine that. And you think that someone is going to be on the phone calling you an idiot? Absolutely not. So that's what brought about this conversation. And like I said, we're going to get into a few things. All right. So that automatically brings us to number one, and that is monitor your children's friends. And don't be afraid to call some things out in fear of hurting their feelings. Because at the end of the day, your job is to train them up in the way that they should go. And going in the wrong direction because friends are dragging you there is a part of the problem. It's a part of the problem. And I will go off to say that even not like if the phone wasn't on speakerphone, I would not have even heard it. It's a part of the problem. Teaching your children even how to choose good friends. Friends that are leading you astray, they're not good friends. No wonder some of us in our adult lives are having these same issues. And yes, this starts off way before now. This starts off way before they become teenagers. But because we're here now, that means we dropped the ball somewhere. Let's pick the ball up. These children are in your home. These are still children. They're teenagers, but they're still children. Teach them how to choose friends. And if you can't teach them how to choose friends right now, you choose them for them because they're in your home. Okay? So let's move on to the next thing. And let's you pay the cell phone bill, right? You're allowed to check cell phone records. Okay, you're allowed to go in there and block people. Like, you can monitor the friends. You can teach them how to choose better friends. But if their choices aren't going the right way, you can step in there and you can make the choice for them. You can do that. These are children, as I said. Okay, so now let's move on to the next thing is these children, these teenagers, they need guidance and rules. Think about yourself as a teenager. And If I could think about myself, if I was allowed to do anything, baby, I would have did anything. And some of these children right now, it surprises me. Might not surprise you. You might not be all that surprised. They don't even have to sneak and do things anymore. They just do it. They're not sneaking and saying curse words. They're just doing it openly in front of adults. And am I saying teaching people to sneak and do things is right? No, but it actually shows when you sneak and do things, it actually shows that you have some sort of respect, some sort of regard for the fact that there's an adult present. Baby, some of these kids just simply don't care. They just simply don't care. So the kids need rules and guidance. I'm not going to sit here and give you step by step, like rule by rule. What kind of rules do you need to implement? But they need rules. They need guidance. And it's your job to see to it that they get those things. Okay. Not the school. And if you don't see to it that they get those things, guess who will see to it that they get those things? The prison system. Okay. The judicial system. They'll see to it that they get those. You don't want that to happen. Black and brown mama, I'm talking to you. Not that I'm leaving out any other teenager, but you know exactly what I'm saying. There is a total disconnect. And I need you to connect back. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. All right, so this is the next thing, and that is give them rewards and something to look forward to. I think one of the biggest mistakes, especially I can speak about Black families, Black households, is giving so much rules and no rewards. Nobody wants to follow a rule if there's no reward. I've used this example before. Think about you getting a promotion on your job. Well, if the promotion doesn't entail more money, you really don't want the promotion. So am I saying that you need to be bargaining with the children? No, but the goal here, especially when they're teenagers. So when they're younger, you do what you want to do. We'll get to that stuff in another video. But as teenagers, you are actually training them to be adults. You're preparing them for young adulthood, to live later on in life without you. Okay, so there is a sense of reward there. Now, with rewards, there's no such thing as a reward if there's no such thing as a punishment. So taking away punishments, takes away the need to reward, because that means you just get anything you want. So definitely setting up some sort of system that they rewarded. I love chore charts. Okay, I made one for both of the children, even teenagers. There's a way that you can make chore charts for teenagers. Just set some standards. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and give you step by step, because some of you guys are going to take my step by step and it has nothing to do with the needs of your child. This is a part of you being a mother. Okay, this is part of you being a mother. This is a part of being a parent. It's your job to assess the needs of your child. And if you have more than one child, just know that they both might have different needs. It's your job. It's your job to see to it that those needs are met very specifically. Okay. And some of the needs, like I said, a need for reward, a need to, like, let's take, for instance, my son used to clean up, like the bathroom used to be one of his duties. I took away the bathroom being his duty because we all share the bathroom, and put in place he washes his own laundry. That's more specific to you. When you leave my home, you are going to need to know how to do your laundry. Okay, yes, you will need to know how to clean the bathroom. I trust you know how to do that. By this time, he's been cleaning the bathroom for years. I trust you know how to do that. You need to wash your laundry. So really tailoring this chore chart, this rewards chart to things that your child actually needs to learn. You need to learn to get up and cook your own breakfast. Baby, I won't always be available to cook you breakfast. You need to learn to feed yourself. Like, you need to learn these things. You need to learn to grocery shop. You need to learn these things. Okay. So like I said, when you set up that chore chart, that rewards chart, I would highly suggest that if you're going to set up a chore chart for teenagers, that it has some sort of reward element in it. Because what are you doing? We used to give my son an allowance just for doing absolutely nothing. If you do that for a season, like I said, I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do. I will tell you that what do you learn giving someone money, giving someone stuff without them doing anything? Well, the lesson that you're teaching them there is people owe you stuff. I don't owe you nothing, baby. I don't owe you a thing. I owe you the bed. Okay, I owe you a roof over your head. I owe you 3 meals a day, and I owe you like a shower. All this extra stuff, all this PlayStations and all that stuff isn't owed. That stuff is earned. And at some point in time, you have to move into the space where these children actually realize, especially these teenagers, that nobody owes you a daggone thing. That's my favorite phrase. Nobody owes you a daggone thing. Okay? You don't owe me nothing, and I don't owe you anything. So I would like you to just set up something. Remember that you're supposed to be training this child up in the way that they should go. So another thing I put on here is I made a prayer wall, because a part of training them up is also, like I said, teaching them how this thing called life goes. And I'll get more into that later on, making a prayer wall. But if you don't have a prayer wall for yourself, I mean, it's going to be very hard for you to even compute in your mind why it's necessary for you to make one for your child. But that's a different conversation. Go watch a different video. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. All right, so this next thing is, I'm gonna read it directly. Hold yourself accountable for daily check-ins, check the room, check the backpack, check the attitudes. Okay, it's easy. It's easy to do everything for them. Like if you see messes and things like that and they're off at school and perhaps you're staying at home, it's easy for you to clean up the things. But remember, our goal here is to prepare them to do life without you, especially in these teenage years. So hold yourself accountable, because a part of that is, like, let's say you tell the child this room needs to look like this, but you don't go in there and check it. So they realize that the one day I don't have my room looking like it's supposed to look, so bed made, whatever your standard is, when I don't have my room like that, he or she, my mom or daddy, they don't say nothing. So why would I do it? What's the incentive to do it? But that means that you have to hold yourself accountable, and you actually have to go in there and check it. You actually have to get up off your tail. You actually have to put down your phone. You actually need to get off the internet and go in there and do the thing. Hold the child up to the standard that you have set. And a part of holding yourself accountable is really being the example that, like, setting the example for them. Don't tell them to do something that you don't do. Don't expect them to not be cursing and acting like a fool when you curse and act like a fool. It's no wonder. Hold yourself accountable. Okay, let's move on to the next. No, let's not move on to the, let's move back actually, because it says right here, daily check-ins. Daily check-ins as far as cleanliness and things like that. Like I said, whatever standard you're holding them up to. Also, we talked about the phone earlier here. That phone, if you still paying for it, 13, 14-year-old, you still paying for the phone. Even if you're not paying for the phone, they're living in your house, you could check that phone. Okay, you could check them friends, you could check that phone. What are you looking at? There's this app called Circle where you download the app and you're able to choose what it is that your child can watch. So you can choose like an age group. You can choose to turn off search engines, TikToks, all that kind of stuff. I would highly suggest implementing stuff like that. The amount of young men, especially, who are just sitting around their house, just watching porn all day and night. And then you wonder why they're having trouble being in relationships. You wonder why they don't want to be husbands. You wonder why they're turning to liking other men and otherwise. Okay. And I know it's true for the young women as well. But this is inappropriate behavior. And like I said, it's going to be hard for you to correct behavior that actually has stemmed from you. So you actually have this problem yourself. You need to fix that problem, and that problem within yourself. You need to fix that problem within these children, because it's cyclical. It will just turn into a big cycle. It's just turned into a big cycle. It's not a mystery what's going on. It might be a mystery to you, but it's not a mystery. Okay, so definitely daily check-ins, holding yourself accountable. You're not just about to be sitting around here just doing anything you want to do. That's not how this goes. We have a rule that you're not allowed to take your phone in the bathroom. So nobody say, I will drop my phone off at the door if I need to go in the bathroom. I don't care what I was doing. I don't care if I was listening to music or something like that. If I'm talking on the phone and I have to use the bathroom, like if I'm talking to my husband, I have to use the bathroom, I have my headphone in, but just carrying the phone in the bathroom, we don't do that. Because what are you doing with your phone in the bathroom? Something you have no business doing. None. I wish I would. I wish I would see you carrying it. What are you doing? What do you think this is? A brothel? You're not carrying no phone in the bathroom. No. And checking backpacks. A lot of the teachers at school, the schools are having this problem where they actually check your child's backpack and find all kind of stuff at the door in the morning. Okay? You could do this. You can check the backpack. I checked my son's backpack the other day only to find out that a teacher gave him a book that was totally inappropriate to go home with for the holidays. Check the kids. Yes, this is your child. Check up on them. Okay? Teenager or not, check up on them. Let them know that they are not alone. They're not alone. Like not only with praise, but also with discipline. Like there is someone here who will hold you accountable. You are not alone. That's important for these children to know. And a lot of you are so tied up in work and so disconnected from what your child needs that the child actually feels like they're alone. They do whatever they want, whenever they want. And you think you could slap a pair of Jordans on their feet and you can give them a new, I don't know, the latest PS5 game, a new Madden game, and it will make up for the stuff that you're not doing, and it won't. And we're seeing it. Okay, we're seeing it. So let's move on to the next thing. So here we have chores that help them to grow themselves. I'm not talking about chores that are stuff that you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be cleaning up your house. This is your house, okay? You had these 5 kids. You got this man that ain't your husband laying up on the couch. This is your stuff. This is your mess. Why those kids up in there cleaned up all that mess? This is your mess. You clean it up. But chores that help them to grow them. So am I saying never let the kids clean up? Never make the kids clean up. Well, they should be cleaning up their messes. So if their messes, that's one thing. But I don't believe in like making children, and this is personal. This is personal. Your household. I clean the dishes. Okay, I cook the meals. Now, if you go in there cooking the meal for yourself, dirtying up dishes, you can go ahead and clean that. You can load the dish in the dishwasher after you're done, sure. But making children responsible for all of your duties as an adult, I don't think that that's wise. It just makes them resentful. The fact that you're making them do it absolutely too much, but chores that help them to build them. So cleaning up your room, so making up your bed, so keeping your things organized. These things, like I said, washing clothes, these things help to build them. Hygiene. I've smelled a few rank kids, and if your kid gets in your car in the afternoon, I know some of you, the kids are on the bus, whatever. If your kid gets in your car, your kid walks to your house and you smell a rank smell, or maybe even the smell of marijuana. How do you know these things, though, if you're not around to see these things? But as I digress, teach the kids personal hygiene. I did a butt wiping tutorial the other day. And not like actually on the butt, like how I'm sitting here talking to you, butt wiping tutorial. Here's the supplies you use. The kids need to know these things, especially little girls. There's a way that you clean yourself. Who do you think is responsible for teaching these kids these things? The school? No, you and I. Who is responsible for letting these children know sex ed? You and I. Actually, I think I have a book right behind. Is the book behind me? I don't know where the book is, girl. I'll put it on the screen. I have some puberty books. Now, I wouldn't suggest just giving these books to the children and letting them read them by themselves and coming to their own conclusions. I would suggest and I know this is not a part of this point, but hey, since we're talking about it, let's talk about it. I would suggest scheduling a time in the week that you meet together. So on top of your daily check-ins with these children, okay, these children, scheduling like one time in the week that we all come together and we talk about things like this. So that book, I love that. Discussing books like that, discussing like this is important. It's important to know about your body. I was teaching my son about like using the razor and like getting extra hair off your body. Who do you think is supposed to teach these kids these things? You and I are. It's our job. And it's time for us to get back to doing our job. So let's move on to the next thing. All right. So here's the next thing. This might be very unpopular, but baby, I am a hall monitor in this home. Okay. I'm a hall monitor. Who you talking to? What they said? What did you say to them? I'm a hall monitor. And I would suggest that you become a hall monitor as well. Closed doors. What my husband said the other day, I'll take it off the hinge before I let you close it. What are you doing closing a door? And someone's going to say, well, you're trying to get dressed or something like that. You have a closet. You can step in there. I don't even close my room door to get dressed. I step in an area that's private, like the closet. I put on my clothes. Or you can step into the bathroom, the restroom. Okay. And you can change your clothing. But a closed door in your room, like, if you want a closed door, that means you're ready to turn a key. That means you're ready for your own space. Like if you're closing a door, you're creating a barrier. You're telling me don't come in here. That's not. I'm a hall monitor, baby. I'll walk through there and I'll see someone on the TV. I'll be like, what's that? What they said? What you watching? Let me see the watch history. The emails come to your phone, but they come to my phone as well. They come to your phone because I don't want to give you every password and every passcode that you forgot. I don't feel like, I'm not doing all that. You can do that. You can set this up yourself. But they come to my phone because you're still a teenager. You still need guidance. And I still need to see. It's still my job as your parent to see what it is that you're doing and intervene appropriately. I'm not talking about being a helicopter parent because I'm not. I'm not talking about being unreasonable because I'm not. But I am talking about monitoring. Because these children need it. They need guidance. They need direction. Okay, let's move on to the next. The next thing is tell them how life really is. And I will say this especially for Black and brown children. Be honest with these children. You might love them so dearly and you might coddle them and you might think it's all okay, but the truth is there's a real world out here and you need to prepare them for it. My son said something so profound to me the other day. After we had a conversation, thanks, Amazon. After we had a conversation about the conversation, I said, "Why did you block the kid?" And he said to me, "It's not worth me ruining my future for someone that I met offline." He only came to this conclusion after he realized what we were trying to tell him. And that is, it's the wrong direction, son. It's the wrong direction. I get it. In the moment, it's real fun to have all these crazy conversations. In the moment, it's real fun even to do silly little things, maybe even nasty little things. In the moment, it's really fun. But most of the time, what you're doing is you're building a track that you'll walk on and you'll pay for some of those mistakes. Right now, you're still a child. So those mistakes fall on us. At some point in time in your life, those mistakes are going to fall on you. Tell these kids how it really is out here. That your mother, loves you dearly, and I'm very forgiving because I know how God has been forgiving towards me. I give you grace because God has been gracious with me. Okay, but the world out there is not so forgiving. Let's not walk around acting like we don't know that the world out there is not so forgiving. Teach these children how it really goes. And some of you are delusional, so you don't even realize. You don't even realize that the life that you're living right now is derived of the choices that you made. And perhaps those choices, you didn't know how to make better choices because no one told you, but you have the authority to change the cycle, to break the system. What you gonna do about it? Tell these kids how it goes. All right, and here's the next one, and that is teaching them about money. Now, I'm pretty sure that we can go way in detail about money, but I'm not. I'm going to leave that up to you. I will tell you, teach them how to take care of themselves financially. You will not believe how many men right now are sitting on the woman's couch, emasculated, okay? The woman goes to work, the man sits back here on the couch because he has nowhere to go. So in turn, he has settled for a very masculine woman who will take care of him while he sits there and does nothing. But perhaps watch stuff he don't have no business watching on his phone all day. And it turns around on you. We're not going to go into that too much today. It turns around on you because then to keep up with all the stuff that he's doing throughout the day, you think that you need to get all these surgeries. Don't get me started. I got a video for you. Don't get me started. But this stems from somewhere. You need to see the big picture here. Teach your son, teach your daughters how to take care of themselves. You will not be surprised. I hope you won't be surprised. I hope you're here with me. We're living in the same world. How many women put up with anything from a man? Okay, selling her entire body, selling her soul even, just to have a place to stay. Just have a place to stay. This is your job to stop this. Teach your children what it means to take care of themselves. And I have a few things here. It doesn't have to be education. Everybody does not want to go off and get a degree, but you do need to teach them skills. You do need to teach them how to put 2 and 2 together to make a living for themselves. You do need to teach them how to put 2 and 2 together to provide for themselves, especially if these young men, these young women want families. We'll get to that here in a second. Driving. I left home without knowing how to drive. I had a ticket, girl, $2,000, okay? From when I was 18. I'm going to go ahead and say now because I'm being honest. That I had to pay for. You know why? Because I couldn't drive when I left home. I didn't have a driver's license. And I got pulled over in the school zone. Okay, I got pulled over in the school zone. So teach these kids how to drive so they're not paying for their mistakes. So they're not wasting their $2,000 paying for mistakes. Teach them these things. And if you don't have time to teach them, pay so someone else can teach them. Or baby, if you don't have the neck strength, you like me. Remember that video I was teaching my son how to drive? It hurt your neck. I would imagine that it's safer to be in the car that has the 2 pedals. Make sure they know how to drive. Make sure they have IDs. Okay, and things like, make sure they have bank accounts set up. Come on. Get with the program. This is your job. This is your job. Being on time for work. Teach them how to be on time for stuff. Don't, if you drop them off at school, don't be dropping them off late. That's teaching them something. That's teaching them that time is not of the essence. That's teaching them that time doesn't matter. And that is not showing them how it really goes out here. Baby, you late to your job, they're going to find somebody else to do it. You ain't gonna have to say, get somebody else to do it. They're gonna get somebody else to do it. And then there goes your money. There goes your bills. There goes your life tumbling downhill. You can teach them this. You know this. You've done this before. I remember the first job I got fired from, girl. I called off, I think it was like 3 days. Depressed. I was depressed. I was in a situationship, taking all my money. I couldn't leave the home. I could not leave the home. After about 3 days, I think that's how long it was. It eludes me now. But I remember the lesson that I learned. I went back to work. That lady said, you a great worker, but you come into my office. You'll never forget what's going to happen to you today. And she fired me. She even offered to pay for me to get a ride home because I didn't have a ride home. I had lost my car. And it was downhill from there. I could have been, by the time I was 19 years old, I could have been the manager at Marriott. That's how hard of a worker I was. And you know what it took? It took 3 days for me to stay my butt at home and not call into work, and I lost my job. And everything else started to fall downhill. It's your job to teach the children those things and not ruining your reputation because of your friends or actions. Because that, like I said, is the thing that started the conversation, restarted the conversation, because I talk to my son like this a lot. I'm like real for real, because I understand even the background that you come from. Okay, baby, there's stuff in the bloodline that has been waiting for you to just sit around and say, ain't gonna be me. Just waiting. And it's not going to be you by the grace of God. But we're not going to be foolish and to say you don't have to do no work for it to not be you. So not ruining your reputation because of friends. Baby, out on the friend right now. Okay. On the friend right now to be where God told me to be. And also to be doing the right thing. You're not about to get me I cannot tell you how many times I thought I was doing something good. I remember I was working with a girl at the Salada. I told y'all about this place. I was working with a girl at Salada, and she was from Louisiana. My family's from Louisiana. So I was like, okay, I had never been to Mardi Gras. As my family's been from Louisiana forever, and I'd never been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans. She offered to bring me. And I don't know if you know a lot about my brothers and sisters from New Orleans, but they a lot sometimes. Okay, they're a lot sometimes. She took me there, and I will tell you that the first thing that we did when we got off the bus was pull up on, you know what it means, pull up on somebody at Wendy's. And they were like getting out, banging on the loudspeaker, banging on the drive-through window. And I just sat in the back seat like, what is going on? I couldn't get out the car. I couldn't do nothing. So even though I wasn't doing it, I was there. That's a big deal. I never went somewhere again with somebody that didn't know how to act. Okay. And your reputation because of these friends, it's important. You have to teach the children that. Let's move on to the next thing. Teach them about family. Now I know you think I'm going to have some kind of nice thing to say here. Kumbaya. Teach them that family is everything. I'm about to tell you something different. Okay. I'm about to read it because I wrote it down. Okay. Teach your sons about a job, a place to work, employment, making money. Teach them that kids mean a wife. So if you're saying that you want kids, that means that you want a wife. Teach them this. I'm speaking from a male's perspective, like I said, because I have a teenage son. Teach them that kids mean a wife. And a wife means you need to be able to take care of a family. Teach them that. It's important. And that takes money and skills. Teach them that. It's important. So they're not walking through here thinking that, oh, by the time I turn the age that my mom is, I just get to have all this. By the time I'm the age that my dad is, I just get to have all this. I get to buy my new car when I turn. That take money. I get to have my sons and I get to show my sons ex-wife. That takes money. You need to teach them this. Okay. Teach them about family. Teach them, if you want intimacy, that means that you need a wife. And if you want a wife, this is the big one right here. You're waiting for it. If you want a wife, that means that you're going to have to develop yourself emotionally and spiritually and relationally. That's what it means. Teach them this so they're not oblivious to what it takes to actually build a family, to actually be a man, to actually be a woman. Teach them this. And some of you, it's going to be hard for you to teach them a lesson that you have yet to learn. But I want to tell you that it is your job. That it is your job. So at the end of the day, at the end of life, one of the questions that's asked of you is, what did you do with X, Y, and Z? Some of the X, Y, and Z going to be these kids. What did you do? You stayed around scrolling on YouTube. I don't think that the Lord wants to hear that. This is your job. And another thing that I told him, because first of all, about family, stop teaching these young men, especially, to disrespect women. My son has a girlfriend, and I don't know if I talked about it in another video. I'll go ahead and link it. My son has a girlfriend. My son's girlfriend is on the same spectrum as he's on. Okay. But you won't be disrespecting nobody in this home. Now I've seen, let's go here. I remember seeing my son he's probably 6'2" now. Right. And I remember seeing this little girl walking behind him, like rubbing his head, him totally nonchalant, because that's not his move. Okay. Rubbing his head. And I said, who was that little girl? You know her name? He said, I don't know her name. I said, oh, okay. So there was a certain, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say here? There's a certain kind of girl that is interested in a certain kind of young man at a certain age. I'm trying to be nice here. Okay. And I told him, you have a girlfriend and you're not going to disrespect her in my house. Now, if you don't want the girlfriend anymore, let the girlfriend know you don't want her no more. And do it respectfully. Do it in the way that you will want somebody to do it to your mother. Okay? Do it in a way. Be respectful. Talk to this young lady in a way that you will want somebody to talk to me. And realize that you actually were the product of a teenage entanglement. So watch yourself now. Watch yourself. The enemy would love for you to fall into the same steps. Watch yourself. Treat this young lady with respect. And with treating her respect, you know what I told her? You only get one good one. And I said this very confidently. I know this to be true for you get one good mate. You do that one good mate wrong, I can't say that the Lord will send you another. Am I saying at this young age that this is the good mate? For them, I do believe so. This might be different for your child, but teach them how to treat, how to respect the other gender. Man, woman, woman, man. Teach them how to respect them. Because the lack of respect has gotten us to the place that we are now. I get you've had bad experiences, but let your bad experiences let your bad experiences stay right here. Don't try to say that it's all men, that it's all women. Don't stop teaching that to these kids and wondering why their lives are turning out the way. They're hopeless because you made them hopeless. You preach to them the hopeless message. It's not a mystery. Might be a mystery to you. It's not a mystery though. Let's move on to the next thing. This is the last thing. It's certainly not the least thing. It is the most important thing on this list. That is, teach your children about God. Teach your children. I told you I made a prayer wall for my son. Teach your children the importance of reading your Bible. Teach your children the importance of giving. Teach your children about God. Teach your children about Jesus. Teach it to them. It's your job. Okay, it's your job. So when they're old, they won't depart from it. Teach them this. Because I'll tell you this, and I told this to my son, when you take your last breath, I may or may not be in the room. But even if I am in the room, I will be able to do nothing with your soul. I can't allow you to enter into heaven, and I can't cast your soul into hell. So these are merely directions that I'm giving you. I'm merely doing my part as your mother, but you need to build a relationship with God. It's imperative in this life. As always, if you have a question, ask a question, and I'll see you in the next video.